Kent batted with positive intent, but the weather turned out to be the only winner at the 3A County Ground, where the LV County Championship match with Derbyshire was inevitably drawn. 2.5 days had been rained off, but Kent still fancied their chances of winning, even though Rob Key edged Tony Palladino behind in the morning's fourth over. I say edged, although Key was not overly pleased with Peter Willey's decision. Key's opening partner Sam Northeast soon followed as Kent slipped from their overnight 10 without loss to 31 for 2 in the first 40 minutes or so. This was in response to Derbyshire's 118 all-out made on day 2. In spite of the loss of those wickets, Kent's intentions were clear. They wanted to get a decent lead as soon as possible and then see just how much that poor first innings showing with the bat had affected their hosts. Brendan Nash and Daniel Bell-Drummond put on a 50-run partnership in 8 overs. Bell-Drummond's dismissal was significant as it gave Tim Groenewold the 250th wicket of his first-class career. It came 50 overs after his 49th as he bowled Bell-Drummond, shouldering arms for 24. The batsman might choose better balls to leave alone in future. Nash, on the other hand, was playing another splendid innings, following on from the 126 he made in the win over Surrey last week. A 6 off David Wainwright took him to his latest half-century, one which he needed only 55 balls to achieve from those he'd found the boundary on 5 occasions and cleared it once. He would have expected to be able to go on and get 100 in a game in which most captains would have settled for the draw. But not Key. His instructions were for his team to push on. Nothing ridiculous was happening at this stage as Ben Harmison and Nash took their side into the lead with a stand of 64 made in 16 overs. With that lead achieved, the run rate really started to pick up. Harmison fell to an outstanding running catch in the deep by Palladino as Groenewold struck for the 251st time. Harmison left with his side 27 runs ahead, his own innings bringing him 27. 50 more runs were then smashed off the next 7 overs as Darren Stevens joined Nash to have some fun. The situation was ideally suited to Stevens, a man who's really made a name for himself as a very strong hitter of a cricket ball in the latter years of his career. Take this as an example. The ball went a long way off his meaty bat. It was noticeable, however, that with the sun out and the pitch only a couple of days old, that the bowlers were not getting too much help from the conditions anymore. Nash also struck a big maximum over third man as the scoreboard started to race along. Key clearly not interested in his side batting out the day for bonus points. Nash moved past 7,000 runs in his career, incidentally. Another big hit from Stevens didn't quite have enough on it, and he too was very well held on the boundary's edge, this time by Paul Borrington off Mark Footit. Stevens was out for 33, which came off just 27 deliveries. Another 40 runs were added by Sam Billings and Nash, but when Billings gave Gareth Cross his third catch on debut, Key called them in with Nash only 5 away from his ton. Kent only needed 15 more for his second batting bonus point as well. The reason was that Kent now had 49 overs to try to bowl themselves to victory. Derbyshire had survived for only the same amount of overs in their first innings. The lead stood at 117, just 1 run fewer than the home side had made first time out too. This time, however, Stevens and Doug Bollinger were unable to cause the damage they had done on Monday, nor did Adam Riley cause any problems with his spin, and that allowed Stephen Moore to keep up the day's entertainment. He reached his 50 off 63 balls, not bothering with too much running, as 40 of his runs had come in boundaries. Both sides already knew that this game was heading nowhere, and both captains were simply waiting for the time that they could shake hands and head home. At least it gave Moore and Borrington a prolonged outdoor practice session, which will have helped the Derbyshire side, which has been struggling for runs so far this year. After 28 overs, in which Moore raced to 73 and Borrington made 31, the game came to an end with Derbyshire on 106 without loss. It was not much of a match, this one, with the conditions ruining it for all. Kent had to settle for 9 points to Derbyshire's 7. Kent will hope for better weather when they head to Bristol at the weekend to take on Gloucestershire in their next 4-day game.